Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Cardiff City World. And tonight, look, it's not a live show. I apologise, but yeah, it is what it is. I've been just bang at it for the last few weeks really, and there's no one available. So no live host tonight, but we'll be back to normal next week with the old live shows in the evening. But today, I wanted to talk about and have a full proper deep dive into the chances of the Cardiff City boys getting some minutes during this international break with two massive games for Wales against Liechtenstein tomorrow and then a huge game next week against North Macedonia. The most important thing for Wales, don't fuck it up. Gotta win tomorrow and then really need to win against North Macedonia. But we're going to break down each player individually. Ruben Colwell, Joel Colwell, Dylan Lawler, and of course Ronan Kapacchio. We're going to look at the pros, the cons, the tactical angles, where they sit in the pecking order, where Craig Bellamy might trust them, and within the Wales larger squad as well. It's not hype, it's not nonsense. This is, as we like to say, a proper Cardiff City World breakdown. We like to look at the tactics, we like to be balanced, we like to be honest where things stand. So sit back, make yourself a cup of tea, and let's talk Wales. So we're going to talk Cardiff City. Let's talk about the real chances of these boys getting minutes over the next couple of days or the next week, shall we say. And as I just mentioned, this camp, this matters because this is it's big. We need the points. Things haven't gone exactly to plan of late. So this isn't just Wales, any Wales camp. It is a landmark moment in many ways for Cardiff City though. 4 players in the squad. I don't think it'll be long before Isaac is in there as well, which will make 5. So and Keane Ashford the same. So it's going to be a big couple of years on the Cardiff City front. But we've been crying out for this for years, for young players to get the recognition that they deserve, they've earned. And suddenly under Craig Bellamy, we've got 4 in a squad, all of whom I think have genuinely got a realistic argument to play in different ways, different amounts of minutes and stuff. So like with this, the game 1 Liechtenstein, there's definitely a chance to rotate a little bit. I think it's going to be intense because we've got to win, but there's still an opportunity for players either off the bench or from the start to make their mark. And against a team which is probably going to sit in a low block, maybe certain players fit into that way that we could look to break that down. Bellamy knows all of the boys. He knows their backgrounds, their academies, their weaknesses, their ceilings. He trusts young footballers, and he also knows what they're good at, what they've improved at, and everything in between really. Cardiff City under Brian Barry Murphy are developing players the right way. Whether that's Dylan Lawler, Joel, Ruben, Kapacchio, they all play proper football. They're technically excellent, brave, possession based, exactly what Craig Bellamy wants and needs, but they also press as well, which is what he likes. This is the first Wales camp in years where I think some Cardiff fans are genuinely invested. Like even the Cardiff fans who I know who are not really, they don't really like the international breaks. They don't really like follow Wales as some of us others do. But it's not just about supporting your country. It's also watching your own boys try to stake their claim for a Wales career under Craig Bellamy. So let's go through them one by one and have a look at it. Let's start with Dylan Lawler. And he's the big one. He's the centre back everyone's talking about. Cardiff City's next big thing. Dylan Lawler. If you haven't already, please do check out the interview that he did with Dragon Sports. It's really interesting. Made some great points, and he just speaks so well. He's an impressive young man. But in terms of the case for him getting minutes, I think the Liechtenstein game is perfect for him. I think we'll see a bit of rotation anyway. But to be honest with you, with a team which plays a low block, having a ball playing centre back who can move into the midfield it's ideal. It's the ideal environment to bring him in, and you're not exposing him to too much pressure defensively. But I genuinely think his ball playing ability not only suits the way that Craig Bellamy wants to play, but it also suits this game very specifically, because Wales want to build up from the back, so they want to split the centre backs. They want to look for the angles and the progressive passing from the back through the midfield and through the thirds, as well as having the confidence for one of the centre backs to step into the midfield. I would argue no one does it quite like Dylan Lawler, and look, he's not a finished article by any means. But even in the Blackpool game where he had a very difficult second half, the first half he was unreal. He does tick all of those boxes. He's already performing at senior level for Cardiff City. You know, he's not under 21s, not under 18s, not development football. He's playing in the first team. He's senior men's football in a brutal, bruising league. He's not just surviving, he's flourishing. He's excelling, and he's doing very, very well. Bellamy values bravery on the ball. Lawler's got that in spades. He's calm, he's sharp, and he's fearless. He doesn't feel the pressure. The lack of depth at centre-back probably opens the door a little bit. I think Cabango has done well for Swansea, but he's up and down. Meepum's been in and out of form. Rodens has nailed on starter when fit. So it is a bit of open season, and I think there's arguably, like I said, he's our best ball-playing centre-back. So why wouldn't you slot him in there alongside Joe Rodon? I think there's a real big case for it. The case against, narrow pitch, maybe not the best pitch for ball playing. Like a one mistake or an error could get a bit messy, but so maybe Bellamy prefers to have a bit more experience in there. I wouldn't, but it is what it is. It's a high responsibility position, centre back, and I think maybe he doesn't want to throw the kid in, but he threw him away. Kazakhstan for his debut. That was an equally pressured game, I'd argue, against better opponents. No matter how talented he is, no matter how talented he is, though, they might want to protect him somewhat. So there's probably that side of it. And Cabango's playing at a higher level. He's a Swansea captain. Maybe Bellamy goes with him. Maybe him and Meepum need some minutes, and he may prioritise getting them in the rhythm if they're going to play the North Macedonia game. Ultimately, if he's thinking about playing Lawler against North Macedonia, which I would also think is a good game for him tactically, I think he should probably play some part tomorrow to get him, because he's only played the one game for Wales. Whether he will or won't is kind of interesting. I think he definitely features in the game somewhere, whether that's from the start or he comes off the bench. Personally, I would get him in there. I think it's the perfect game for him, and I think the low block and the 11 men behind the ball makes that case even more so with him. But either way, I think he plays some minutes, I gotta say, even if it's off the bench. Next up is Joel Colwell, the workhorse, the technician, the non-stop runner. He is the BBM and the Bellamy prototype. He's a fascinating position because he's by no means guaranteed any minutes for Wales, but I believe in some ways he's too talented to ignore. Now, when you look at the pros, you've got, his energy and his pressing is perfect for Bellamy's midfield. He presses relentlessly like a dog. He's intelligent on the ball, he can carry it, got a pretty high IQ for reading the game, and he's good at keeping hold of the ball. Now, he also wins a lot of free kicks. For me, it all depends on what Bellamy's going with. If he's going Jordan James and Ethan Ampadu as a 2 with Harry Wilson in front, no arguments from me. If he's going to play Liam Cullen as like an attacking 8, then to me Joel should play. He does everything that Liam Cullen does, but better. He's better on the ball, he's better at carrying it, he's got that sort of explosiveness, he's much better defensively, certainly. He's perfect for the second phase. He keeps the ball moving, he finds pockets of space, he links well with the wingers, running beyond, underlapping, and he never ever hides from a battle. Now, Wales probably do lack a midfielder with his profile, because you've got Ampadu who's more of a 6, Sheenan the same. Jordan James is the more of the ball winner. I think he's technically very good. I'm a big fan of Jordan James. And then you've got Liam Cullen, who tends to be that sort of hybrid number 8. And I just think Joel offers a lot more. And then obviously you've got Joel, who's like that hybrid 6, 8, high engine, high IQ, tidy in tight spaces, but is relentless in his pressing, his duels, and his energy. Bellamy does love players who don't complicate things, and I think Joel plays simple football at quite a high tempo. The Liechtenstein game is going to demand runners because they will put 11 behind the ball. It's a narrow pitch, and I think Joel is probably the best at that in the midfield, really. Jordan James does it, but I think he's more of a dictator. It's the case against him, I think, is clear. I just mentioned there, if Ampadu starts and Jordan James likely starts, Harry Wilson's in a 10, where's he fit? He trusts Josh Sheenan. For whatever reason, he quite likes Liam Cullen. That does seem to leave limited minutes for Joel Colwell. Now, if it was me, as I said, I would go with Joel over Liam Cullen. Would they like to, slot him in now? Or do they want to find the right time to blood him into the team? I think that's, fair. The game state matters as well. If the game is cagey, I don't think Joel will come off the bench. If Wales are comfortable, he probably will. Liechtenstein is going to be awkward, particularly early on. So it all depends on Craig Bellamy's game plan, ultimately. If he's going to press high and he's going to look to really move the ball fast and start fast, and he goes with like a single pivot with two really attacking number 8s, I do think Joel should play, tactically. But, I don't pick the team. In terms of the likely outcome, I think it's probably 50-50 for Joel. If Wales dominate, he might come on the bench, off the bench. In terms of the North Macedonia game, unless he starts against Liechtenstein and is super, super impressive, I don't know if he gets that much time against North Macedonia. But again, it depends on with the game state. But I would say it's probably more of an outside chance for him in terms of getting game time. But maybe if you want fresh legs, or you need some pressing, or you need that energy injection, possibly he could come off the bench. The verdict for Joel, really, I think he gets minutes tomorrow. I'm just not sure if he starts. I would probably start him against Liechtenstein, but that's just me. Maybe there's a bit of Cardiff bias in there, but I also watch him every week, so I know what he offers, and I know how he would drop into that Craig Bellamy system. And I think Craig is a big fan of him as well. He's talked about him a lot. My kind of gut feeling is we get to see him off the bench tomorrow, and maybe against North Macedonia, but I'm not convinced about that. Next up then, Ruben Colwell. The wild card, the playmaker, that should be the spark that Bellamy may need off the bench, or even start in some games. But for whatever reason, Ruben hasn't really been involved under Craig Bellamy, even this season, where he's been, his most consistent ever. He's been working harder than ever. He's been aggressive in the pressing and duel and winning the ball back. He is unpredictable. He's not your stereotypical number 10. And if they are going to rotate, and give maybe Harry Wilson a rest for North Macedonia, I think there's a case for Ruben to get some minutes and show Craig Bellamy what he's capable of. Ruben's in very good form for Cardiff City. He has been all season, give or take, 1 or 2 games. He's confident. He's brave. He works hard. He creates chances. He gets his shots off. He finds those little pockets of space. And he's not like your stereotypical number 10. He gives you a bit of physicality. This is the best Ruben we've seen consistently. Now, do Wales lack a bit of creativity sometimes? I think so. Outside Harry Wilson, we don't do much. We don't create a lot. And against the low block and 11 men behind the ball, you need someone who can do something just out of the blue, something different. Wales don't have that one true 1v1 creator, someone who can carry the ball and do something outrageous. And Ruben is like the best technician in and around the box outside of Harry Wilson in the entire squad, I would argue. And I think he offers you something that no one else does. Liechtenstein are going to sit deep. You need a player who can unlock that. And I think Ruben is that player. He can drop in, he can press, he can really find some unorthodox positions and create chaos, create opportunities for Wales to score goals. Bellamy knows what Ruben's about, but does he fancy him is the question, and I don't know the answer to that question. It seems like it's been a long time coming for him to just be in the squad without being added after or whatever. But Ruben's really versatile. He can play up to wide and drift in. He can play as a false 9. He can play as a number 10. He can play as a number 8. I know certain people in the Welsh camp think he'll long term be a number 6. You can play him off the striker. There's a lot of different positions that he could do effectively in different systems, depending on what you're looking for. The case against Bellamy, against Ruben, well, I think is obvious. Bellamy doesn't seem to fancy him. Harry Wilson is Wales' best player. David Brooks is not that far behind. Brennan Johnson should be one of Wales' best players and isn't. So like they're all kind of attacking players who play in that sort of the areas around the strikers, and to a certain extent, it depends on what they're going to do rotation wise tomorrow. Are they going to just go with the strongest team and try and get the game won? And senior players will need minutes, some of them as well. So, I know Ruben's defensive output gets criticised sometimes, but he wins the ball back a lot. He presses like a beast. Personally, I think it's unlikely we see him start against North Macedonia. I think we know more or less who will be the three behind the striker, it's just who the striker is. But I think he could be a massive weapon off the bench. If that North Macedonia game is tight, having Ruben come off the bench to just create that bit of chaos or do something outrageous is a massive, massive tool for Bellamy to have in his belt. He's got to start using these players off the bench, and he's got to give himself the maximum amount of tools to change games. Now, there's also a risk that maybe Bellamy only sees him as an impact player. I'm not so sure about that, and I actually think Joel or Ruben might get a start tomorrow. I'm not 100% convinced, but I wouldn't be shocked. I definitely think against a low block, I could see an argument for either or both. Fitness, maybe they feel that Ruben's played a lot of minutes this year. That could be another reason. Maybe, they're a bit cautious with him in terms of minutes, but I think that's neither here nor there. In terms of the likely outcome, I think Ruben will get some minutes tomorrow in some fashion, because I think tomorrow's the one where they're going to rotate ultimately. What he does then from there will probably decide what happens on later in the week against North Macedonia. If Wales are chasing the game against North Macedonia, it seems like a no-brainer to bring him on. If they're defending a lead, well, yeah, he probably won't. I think he should get some minutes. I would give him a start against Liechtenstein and then use him off the bench against North Macedonia if we need a goal. But I would definitely look at utilising his skill set and his abilities. And not just him. Like I really believe that Craig Bellamy has got to start being more clever about his bench and giving himself the maximum amount of variety and creativity off the bench to change games. And then finally, you've got Ronan Capaccio. Now, in many ways, the rawest of the four, but he's also the most explosive. Ronan's a really interesting case. He's fit, he's talented, and he's brave. Going forward, I don't think there was much question about what he was capable of. He is young. But defensively, this year in League One, he's been so impressive. Not just impressive, he's got better as the season's gone on. And I really think, for me, I think Nico Williams is often better for Wales at left back. And I think there's a bit of a hole at right back for Wales because Connor Roberts is not about. I really think that Capaccio fits. He feels like he's a real good fit for the way Bellamy wants to play. We do have a bit of a right back shortage. Nico Williams is first choice, of course. But if he plays off the left, it could be open season there for right back. And Capaccio, I think, can offer a lot. However, look, Capaccio offers pace, he offers dynamism, he offers aggression, that vertical running, he's fearless one-on-one, and like I said, his defensive work has really improved. Tomorrow's match is a perfect kind of low-pressure environment where maybe you can give him a bit of confidence and he can thrive. Wales are going to dominate the ball, he can push forward at will and really try and show what he's capable of. Bellamy likes like those modern fullbacks who can invert, can overlap, underlap, are aggressive, try and attack, really press out of the ball. He ticks all those boxes. Capaccio fits that profile better than any other fullback Wales have, apart from Nico Williams. Now, in terms of the cons, I think in his debut, he struggled in the Canada game and against very good wingers, by the way, very, very good wingers. He had a bit of a nightmare. That can happen against good players. His defensive positioning is still developing, but in terms of his 1v1s and his duels, they've been exceptional. Like, he's been so good this year, but he's probably not elite defensively yet. North Macedonia is massive. It's a huge game. If he's going to play any part in that North Macedonia game, I think he has to play against Liechtenstein to make sure he's confident and he's ready Of course, the obvious choice seems Nico Williams at right back. Again, it depends on rotation, depends what he wants to do with Ben Davies. There's a lot of different things and elements which come into it. Bellamy does like him. He really likes him as a player. He tried to sign him with company at Burnley. This experience could be massive for Ronan Kipakio's development. I think there's a decent chance we see him tomorrow, whether, I don't know if he'll start or not, or whether he just comes off the bench, but I think we see him tomorrow. North Macedonia, ultimately it depends what they're going to do with a back four and Ben Davies. If Ben Davies is left back, then Nico's going to play right. If Nico's going to shift over to the left, there's a spot at right back. And who's going to go there? You'd think Kipakio, but who knows? It's really, really interesting. I think he's getting closer for me, Kipakio. And if Craig Bellamy's watched him as closely as I think he has in the league, I won't be shocked to see him in the starting lineup tomorrow, because he offers a lot of things that Wales will need tomorrow: pace and aggression and creativity. All these things to unlock a low block and 11 men behind the ball. But when we kind of go with a final ranking, who's the most likely to play? So based on everything we know, Bellamy's favourites, form, camp competition tactics, Bellamy's like his preference, like I say, this is where I would rank it. I think Dylan Lawler probably starts tomorrow, and I won't be shocked if he starts against North Macedonia. I think Ruben might start tomorrow, but I don't think he plays against North Macedonia, maybe off the bench. Joel, I find puzzling, as I said, because if Cullen starts, I'm like, why are we doing this when we've got a better out-and-out midfielder? But look, I think it is what it is. And then I think Ronan, same thing. It all depends on what they do at the left back. I think all of them potentially could have some minutes tomorrow. All of them, I could see an argument for some sort of role against North Macedonia, but I think it's much more unlikely. What does it all mean? Well, for Cardiff City fans, it's exciting to have 4 guys in the camp, and like, genuinely, I don't think it's unrealistic that some of these boys, or all of them, could feature tomorrow in some way. That's exciting for a Cardiff City fan. That's exciting just for a Wales fan to see these young, exciting players who are just against a defensive team like Liechtenstein could go and really showcase their abilities. I'm loving that. It might not be the most glamorous fixture in the world, and there is a bit of tension with results and stuff like that, but it's enjoyable to see your club, our club, Cardiff City, producing international footballers again. Real footballers, real talent, real pathways. Tomorrow, it could be historic for Cardiff. Maybe all 4 of them start. What a result for the football club that would be. Breakthrough moments. That would be incredible. On the other side of it, if none of them play a minute over the 2 games, from a purely selfish Cardiff point of view, they get a bit of a rest, do a bit of training, and they get a bit of a rest. We think it feels like this is the beginning of a golden generation for Cardiff City's academy, and you'd like to think that Bellamy, of all people, would be a good manager to give these boys a chance and give these boys a platform to show what they can do for Wales. But I don't know. So settle in tomorrow, enjoy the game, keep an eye on those positions and the starting lineup, and see who gets their moment, because maybe these Cardiff City youngsters are about to step into the international stage, maybe even together. But let me know what you think in the comments. I'm fascinated by it because I try to be as balanced as possible, but there's obviously a bit of Cardiff bias in there. But I do think there's an argument for all 4 tomorrow because of the team we're playing and the way they'll likely set up. I'm interested in what you guys think. Let me know in the comments, and I'll be back tomorrow with a match day preview, which will drop at lunchtime. Hit that like button, subscribe. If you're not a member, please do become a member. It allows us to produce Cardiff City content 7 days a week. Thank you so much. Keep the faith. Up the city. Cymru am byrdd. Here we go. Let's have it.